Who wants to go?
Peggy Aldridge, she was the instructor for the RN program in 2001 when I started. She believed in me and she helped me accomplish my dream and told me to never give up. I was a single mom with 3 children. It was hard enough to have a nursing student, first graduating nursing student, as a 2-parent home, but it was a 1-parent home. And so I needed the mentor and the leadership from her.
Oh, I know her.
For me, it's not really one specific person. It's the VRC, the Veterans Resource Center. They helped me out immensely with enrolling in classes and being an advisor. And that's my people. That's who I like being surrounded with. We have a good time in there, and that to me was a big influence.
Awesome.
My biggest influence here at Lone Star is Danielle Ward. She's in the back. Say holler. She is amazing. She has held me accountable as a leader, and she has so much wisdom, and she's helped me through so much. She's gave me so many experience here, like on campus. Like, it's my first year here at Lone Star, and I've been many places, and we've had many workshops, and we've just had many opportunities to just be blessed in trio.
Right.
So I love it, and I thank you so much.
This is like probably one of the toughest questions. There are so many people who have really impacted my life. I'm just looking at a few of them. Please don't get angry. But it's a lady who used to be a tutor in the Learning Commons. Her name is Miriam King. And she really impacted my life. She's now a professor here at Lone Star Kingwood. When I started school, it was so much I didn't understand, so much I didn't know. And that can easily make you feel dumb. And I felt dumb. So she really helped me. I had to write a 3-page essay, and I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm gone, But when I ran into her, she was so welcoming. She was like, you can do this. The energy was there. So I was just so thankful, to cross paths with her. She's changed my life in a tremendous way. So I'm thankful for that.
For myself, I have so many influences, but I am gonna bring it down to just 3. Dr. Gonzalez is a huge influence. She's the president of Lone Star.
Yeah.
If you guys have not met her, she worked really hard. She, even with being a mom, she went through school and then worked with her community. She still works with her community. She's been special speakers for the low income and Liberty for myself. So she's a huge influence to never give up and keep fighting for what you want. For what you want. And then I have Dr. Purvis, who is the head of the department for the teachers. And then I have Nicole Foley. So I have 2 really good
That's
influences. Awesome. So there's so many more, but it's only a few minutes. So thank you.
Awesome.
The biggest influence for me, the person who had the biggest influence for me is Karen Woolley, who I understand is now a dean. So congratulations to Dr. Dean Karen Woolley. When I came back to school in 2018, I was 49, and people doubted that I could do it, but she really helped me. I think I went to her office in tears one day because I almost dropped out before I even started, because the sign-up process is so intense. You have to go through so much, just to make it to the first class. Signing up for classes was a challenge. The whole new internal computer system was just so overwhelming, and she helped me sign up, even though she wasn't an advisor. She really helped me, and she had a big influence. And so when I finished my classes, she was the first person I had to tell. And I had a couple more people too, Dr. Howard Garth, I understand he's no longer here, and Diana Blanco. The whole system really, no matter which campus you go to, I noticed that everyone, they're like the same. They have the same compassion. They want to help you, and I just like the whole Lone Star structure. The whole system is set up for you to succeed.
Absolutely.
Number 2 would be, what has been the biggest surprise that you have experienced while attending Lone Star? For example, change of major, cost of education, or your own skills.
I was going to be a teacher, but felt the calling to go become an RN to help people physically and mentally. And so I changed my degree to that, and they were a great help. The whole process was great. They were all good to me, and I went to school here in 2001. And so they were great at helping me transition to that.
Well, for me, I'm returning back to school at age, I was 48 when I came here last year. After being in the military, these classes are completely different. In the military, you're guaranteed not to fail. You have to really mess it up to fail. And coming here, it was a big change. That having to actually pay attention in class and do your classwork and do your homework in the military is just easy stuff. So that was kind of the biggest challenge for me is being back to school after like 30 years. It's rough.
Absolutely.
The biggest challenge for me was not knowing what to expect, because I'm like very social and I'm just like, okay, what are they gonna think? Like, I'm gonna talk to everybody. But a big surprise that I had was just knowing, like, oh wow, like there's so much here, and like there has been this stigma against community college that I've had like all my life, where people are like, no, community college, there's nothing to it. But like there's so many key pieces to community college that like I'm seeing through, clubs and, trio, marketing, everything that I've been in student government, there have been so many little blessings that came along with it. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I see.
Awesome. I think for me, like the biggest thing I had to learn to do is to adapt to the change of it all. I've always been a person who is pretty much headstrong, confident, knowing what I want to do and when I want to do it. But at college, you have to literally break all of that. So I had to change completely. I'm raising my hand now. It's like you have to adapt to that change in order to excel pretty much. So that's my biggest challenge, and adaptation has really helped me tremendously though.
I think for myself, again, I'm an older generation as well. So the stigma of going to community college was a big challenge for me as well. But then once I realized everything that Lone Star has to offer, and not the pathways, and then moving towards your bachelor's degrees, I was pretty surprised about that. Now, when I did come here, early childhood was not my path, but that was a challenge. The surprise to me actually was becoming part of the Be a Teacher Club and getting roped into the TSTA and becoming very vocal and active, not only here but outside in the community, as well as going to a lot of conferences and seeing the diversity and how lucky we are in the state of Texas. So that's been pretty interesting. And then being on, this is my, I think, 5th guest speaker. So being active in Lone Star itself, I never anticipated that. So that's been a huge surprise, a great surprise though.
Awesome.
For me, returning to college at the age that I did, I thought all the classes were going to be in person, and I was apprehensive about that, being the oldest person in the room. I didn't know what to expect. I thought I was going to school with, much younger people. But the big surprise for me was that I could take these classes remotely. So I kind of enjoyed that. I did 95% of my classes remotely. And what other surprises? The help that Lone Star offers with price of books, you know, because some of the classes I took, and then the price of books could be like $400 to $600, and then you need that software and workbooks and everything. But then it really paid off because Lone Star will help you with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Question 3 is, how did you decide what degree or goals to pursue in your education?
I love to help people. I'm a business owner and also nonprofit. I started a nonprofit and an RN, and I love to help people in the community and give back. I believe in giving back and serving others and helping them in need. And at college, when I was in college, that's what they did for me. They helped me. They pulled together as a family and a community, and whatever they needed, like the books and the different classes of mentorship, leadership, they helped coach me and mentorship me and give me the leadership and give me the push that I needed to be successful.
Absolutely.
For me, my stepdaughter was born with a disability, and she has to have x-rays quite frequently. And seeing the care and the compassion that some of the radiology techs have with her, and knowing that it comforts her so much to keep her not to be scared, I wanted to do that, and to help the children not to be scared. That's why I chose my major.
That's awesome.
I chose my major for business because I love small businesses so much. I want to be in marketing for them so I can promote them and try to push local leadership for not just my generation, but the older generation and the younger generation to see, like, hey, this is important. Right where you are, you can be used right where you are too, with your own niche and your own passion in different ways. And so that's my core value is like, hey, we need to help our community grow, because small businesses are the economy, or part of the economy, and they're just helps our economy grow just so much, and nonprofits as well. And so we have to get together as a community and just help support each other. So that's why I'm all about my small businesses.
Awesome. I didn't choose nursing. Nursing chose me. I just thought it sounded pretty cool. But I chose this profession for so many reasons. I have a brother who has special needs, and I can definitely relate with you. And, you know, just dealing with him, you know, it's taught me so many nursing traits, and I'm so thankful, you know, to have that experience where you're learning how to treat people, treat people in the right way, you know, even before you get into the nursing field. Always been a nurturing person. I have so many role models going for nursing, that's another thing. And that's pretty much why I chose nursing.
So again, my path chose me as well. I'll give you a little backstory. When I first came here, I was actually doing business. Previous to coming here, I was married for 20 years. I ran a business, went through a divorce, and we had to consolidate everything. And I said, well, you know, let me go back and get my business degree. I'm good at it. So Club Rush Day, the tables were out, and Miss Foley was there at the tables, and we were talking, we were chit-chatting. And so I have 3 adult children, and I have a 4-year-old. At the time, he was 2. And so we were talking, I was checking out all the clubs, you know, and she was like, well, wait a second, you have a little one. You sound like you would be great with kids. And so some of the other kids in the group were like, why don't you check us out? And I said, why not? So I did. And the next thing I knew, I was changing my career plan. And I am now a teacher of 23-year-olds.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
My major was business management / accounting, and like the previous 2 ladies, it chose me. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. I watched my dad grow his small business, which I ended up working for him for the last 20 years of the business before he finally sold it. And then going through some of my grandmother's paperwork, I found a ledger of hers from like the 1950s or something, and I'm like, wow, she was doing accounting, and she was a seamstress. She, you know, did some farming work, and so I'm like, entrepreneurship runs in our family, and it made sense why I went from job to job to job. But when I finally ended up working for my dad, that was the longest job I'd had for almost 20 years, and then he sold the business in 2016, and then that's when, you know, the life change happened. I started looking for jobs, and everybody wanted a degree. And I'm like, but I have the experience, but they wanted the degree. So that was my motivation to come to school, to get the degree. I got my associates, and then, you know, thankfully my business took off. And so, you know, Lone Star teaches you discipline. It teaches you a love of learning. You never stop wanting to learn. And the more you grow, the more you can help other people, because now I get to pay it forward and mentor other people to start their own businesses if they want to. And I also mentor small business owners on how to manage their finances and get their business together in the event that they want to sell one day. And so that was my contributing factor to the small business community.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So girl, wrapping it up.
What changes in the roles of women and the opportunities available to women have you witnessed or experienced personally?
Women have education and more job opportunities now. Women are now more self-sufficient, well-aware, and financially independent. They have attained success in every field, whether it's academics, sports, or politics. You know, in 01, when I was a single mom, it was hard. You have, especially coming from my first husband being abused, you don't have self-confidence. You're made to believe that a woman can't can't get an education and be successful. And in 2001, when I was a single mom with 3 kids, you know, you have to start building yourself up. You have to saying, I can do this. I can make a difference. I can help other women and be successful at whatever their calling is in their life and whatever educational route they decide to go. I get to mentor young women every day. In our program, we teach the younger generation that get an education, but you can be whoever you were created to be. Take the path and what you think you can, and you can change it. If it's not fit for you right then and there, it's okay. Do another one. Go to school for another education. I push them. We believe in the younger generation getting an education and then going to school and exploring which class, business, different things. So we believe in the education system, and we have a couple of women that have come to the college and have been very successful.
Absolutely. That's good.
This one hard one for me. What was the question?
In your lifetime, what changes in the roles of women and the opportunities available to women have you witnessed or experienced personally?
For me, a lot of it has to do with the military. When I came in, before most people in here were born, women only had specific jobs in the military. They weren't allowed to be in the infantry, artillery, combat engineers. They weren't allowed to do a lot of things in the military. Here recently, they've been able to. Now they're able to do combat arms. Don't know why they would want to, but now they're allowed. But that was one of the biggest changes for me being in the military, is having to work with basically being the only female in an all-male unit. It's kind of sketchy sometimes, but I enjoyed it a lot.
I've seen differences in like knowing who you are as a woman, like knowing I am beautiful, I am creative, I am, you know, worthy, right? And knowing where that derives from, right? And the thing is, like, when you have been personally, you never get that feedback you want to give it back to other people, because in my life I really never got it. So I was just like, okay, hey, you know what? And I had to instill in myself, I have to give this feedback to myself, because if I don't, how does it look like to other people? Like, oh, she's just, you know, being a hypocrite. She doesn't even tell everybody else, like, hey, you're beautiful too, you know, because you are. So, and I hope y'all see that in yourselves. So that's what I got to say.
Well, I personally see changes with women that I really like is with how we're able to get the same amount of pay, you know, as males. You know, that wasn't a thing until we started raising our voices. And one thing I'm really passionate about doing here at Lone Star Kingwood is just helping young ladies here to build that self-confidence. You know, everybody doesn't have a voice. Sometimes you're their voice in a sense, if I could say it that way. And I know so many young ladies that come to me, you know, about things that I keep, you know, they entrust me, they confide in me. And I'm like, I really want to help you find your voice, but at the end of the day, I can't say it for you. It has to come from you directly, you know, and I can inspire you and push you, and that's what I'm looking to do, you know, until you get to that place where you're finding your voice and you have that self-respect as a woman, you know, point blank.
For myself, being an older generation, I admire the fact that the younger generation, especially my girls, have so much more opportunities. When I was a kid, especially being Latina, I was expected to marry and have a bunch of children, and hush, listen to your husband, and that's that. Luckily, I had very strong women in my family, and my grandmother was like, "Mija, pues you don't have to get married young. You know, you don't have to. You can go to college." So I actually am the first generation to go to college, and I opened those doors for all of my cousins. So in my family, we have a lot of successful women. Because I started that, and they were able to see that I was able to be successful. When I was married for 20 years and I had a business, I have to tell you, I lost my business, I lost my marriage, I lost my home in Harvey. I started from nothing. I was homeless and pregnant, started all over. I now own my own home. I live debt free. I'm a single full-time mom, which means that I have full custody of my child. I work 2 full-time jobs, and I go to school here. So we have a lot of opportunities now that, you know, a lot of my peers did not have. And I'm so thankful for that. My girls have a lot of opportunities. I don't have any grandchildren because my girls and my son are very intent in getting their education and starting their business before they move on to having families. Growing up, I didn't have that. It was more like, let's hurry up and get our family, you know, with everyone around. So you do have those opportunities, and the wage gap is actually closing, which is wonderful that I work 2 jobs because I love what I do, not because I have to. I can work 1 job and take care of my family, no problem. So that having that wage gap has really helped with that. But I do it because, like I said, I love what I do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
The industry that I was in, pest control, is a male-dominated industry, as most industries are. But over the years, I have noticed a transition of female CEOs and female operations managers, and I think the aspect that a female can bring to a company is empathy and compassion to balance that out. And so that is something that I got to teach, and you know, to my employees and even the people I spoke to on the phone. I realized they needed to hear you know, compassionate, empathetic voice, somebody who can relate to what they're going through and just put their mind at ease. So I think with the femininity, you know, that we bring to the industry can level it out a little, and we have more opportunities to be in those management positions.
Absolutely.
No, I don't know what it was.
You did good.
What female role model from the past or present do you admire most and why?
One of my spiritual mothers taught me a long time ago to strive to be the very best that I can. Never give up, and always finish what I started. Always finish. It might be something that I don't want to finish, but I finish it, and if I don't like it, I can move on to something else. Just to have that compassion for others too, to walk that journey with you, to have coaches, leaderships, mentors that can always follow up with you and help you. There are times that you don't want to reach out for help. You think you can do it yourself, but you really do need the life coaches and mentors and leadership to help you. They will help you push to strive to be the best that you can and do the best that you can. And never give up. Never give up. That's the key thing. It might not be for you, that degree might not be for you, it's okay. Your parents might have said it's for you, but it might not be. Go to another degree, search it out, get counsel, get leadership, get mentors to back you.
Absolutely.
For me, the biggest female influence in my life would have to be my mother. She has always stood by me, no matter what decision I ever made. She was not happy about me joining the military, but sometimes you have to do what you have to do to support your family, and I did. She's always been there for me for no matter what I needed, what decision I made, whether it was a good one or a bad one. She's always been there, and she's always been there to comfort me when I needed her. And to me, that's why she is my hero.
The biggest influence of my life right now, who's a woman, is Becky Bowles. She was my high school counselor my senior year, and she was always there for me. She helped me get to the point where I am today in college, because I wasn't going to go to college. I was never supported with my family to go to college, and she's like, hey, you know, if this is what you want to do, then you're going to do great things whether you go to college or not, but if this is what you want to do, then do it, right? And so that was one thing, and she just walks very humbly, and as a leader, you want to be humble. You don't want to, like, you know, tear down your, you know, your leadership and everybody around you. You want to build them up so they can also be good leaders in whatever field they're in whatever position they're in within your realm. So I appreciate her so much. She's such a big blessing, and she will always be a big blessing in my life. So
That's so awesome.
thank you.
Put the mic down. No, I'm just so my biggest inspiration of a woman in my life is my mom too. So I'm on team mom. My mom's always been there for me. We're very different, you know, sometimes we'll butt heads, but at the end of the day, whenever I need an encouraging word, my mom is there. You know, whenever I need to be called out, she's there too. And more importantly, she told me one day when I was going through, you know, a lot of drama and things in my life, I was telling her about my problems, and she was like, I was like, why me? And she was like, why not you? You know, you have so much confidence and courage and and energy where you can show other people like you can make it through this and keep going. So my mom, she's my everything. You know, she would die for me, and I can't think of anybody greater than my mom. She's always been in my life, still in my life. You know, when I want her there and when I don't want her there, but, you know, the love is all there. You know, she's very humble. Everything you can think of, you want in a mom, that's her. So that's my role model.
So once again, I'm going to change mine up a little bit. My biggest influence was actually my father. I did not have a mother. She struggled with alcoholism, and she was a drug addict, and she wasn't a big part of my life. But my dad was mom and dad. And I actually went to my dad one time and I said, Dad, why are you so much harder on me than my siblings? And he said, because you got potential, honey. You have potential, and I see in you that you can go to college and you can make something of your life. And he was right. He was right. And I'm thankful for those words. And anytime I have a bad day, even like I said earlier, being homeless and struggling. I was like, Lord, what am I going to do? I remember those words of my dad saying, you know what, you have potential. It doesn't matter. No matter what mountain you have to climb, you're going to climb it. So he's my biggest actual influence. He grew up in a time where he was ostracized for the color of his skin. He had to drop out of school. He didn't get to go to college. He had to work in the fields with his parents, and he had to help raise his siblings. And even though I'm the youngest, he was like, you have the potential and you're going to be somebody. And here I am. You know, I may not have a lot, but I live debt free, and I'm able to, you know, do a lot of stuff with my kids, and I work hard, and I go to school, and I teach my children and everyone around me, even my friends and family. And when they come and they complain to me, I'm like, you barking up the wrong tree. Like, if I can do it, you can do it. I know you can do it. Like, you can get through this. So thank you. Thank you.
So you heard me speak earlier of my grandmother who did her own accounting, her own bookkeeping. She was an inspiration to me, but my other grandmother became a nurse at age 58, between 58 or 60. And talk about tenacity. It took her 3 times, and I think that exam is about 6 hours long, right?
About right.
It took her 3 times taking that exam before she finally passed, but she had a determination like no other. She was like 5'1". She was so powerful, but yet she held the family together. And so I draw my inspiration from her. When I feel like giving up, I think about her, you know, how old she was. So you're never too old to live your dreams, and she lived a good long life, and I know that she's proud of me today.
The last question would be, what piece of advice would you give to women of any age or background who is considering attending college?
You can do it. Don't give up. Anything's possible. Believe in yourself. Number one thing, don't let others distract you from your purpose. Stay focused on the goal. I was put down many times. I didn't have the support from family. And so I was a single mom, and you have to believe in yourself, but also not the people around you distract you and say you can't do this, you can't do that. You can do it. Anything you put your mind to it, you can do it. And so the people around you, make sure they're edifying and lifting you up and helping you achieve your dreams.
Absolutely.
I feel like that if you want to go to college, go to college. There's so many opportunities out there for you. If you do go to college, there's all kinds of financial aid and everything like that. It's achievable. If you want to go, go. Like she said, pay attention. Don't let others distract you from your goals. Be involved. Get involved with your community. Get involved with your school. Join a club. Be a part of the school. Don't just go to get an education. Go to get life experience. Network. Meet people. People that are in your class will probably be the same people you'll be working with out in the real world. You know, be a part of your college experience. Don't just go to learn. Go to eat.
The advice I would give to young women going to college is don't listen to the critics. Literally, oh my gosh. There are going to be people that tell you, hey, don't do that, don't do this, and just harp on you not going to college and say that's the wrong choice, that's the wrong idea. But you have to keep pursuing like your dream and keep going for it, because only you can make the choice to keep, following those steps, right? So that's my advice, because I understand if you've gone through that, I get it, because I have critics all the time telling me, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm doing what I want to do because this is my dream and I'm fulfilling my passion, right?
I will quote Denzel Washington, and he said, don't mistake movement for progress. You know, everything that you do, you want to really make it count. You know, just because you say you're doing something, it's about how you do it. And I really agree with one of the ladies over here talking about getting these groups and organizations. I'm in so many groups and organizations. It has helped me tremendously. I'm with TRIO, you know, I get with the Women's Center. It's so many groups here, you know, and they don't know how much they've impacted my life. And without those groups starting college here, no, that's gonna be a no. I wouldn't still be here. And you gotta take advantage of the people around you that support you. You know, it's people here, but you gotta build those connections. But I do believe, you know, you gotta have self-confidence. It's gonna be days where nobody believes in you and you don't have a friend to pat you on the back. I personally do self-pep talks in the mirror, whatever you gotta do to cope, because it's gonna be days when it's just you against the world. So you wanna fight, you wanna be a fighter, but at the same time, you wanna know your worth. And, you know, get around the right company. You know, don't waste time with losers. I hate to say it, but hey, it is what it is. But, you know, build the right connections, basically.
I do self-pep talks too. I have to. So I work a lot with the community, especially the lower income areas. And something that I always explain to them is they say college isn't for me. Like, no, that's not my life. It's not, I wasn't made to go to college. And I said, well, why don't you go up to the college, and I know you want to go out there and just work right away, but they do have certificate programs. So why don't you go out and just check it out and see the certificate program? And the goal is that because that certificate program, actually you can work up and get an associate's degree. I actually had 10 people within my community in the last 2 years that came to check out the certificate program, and they're actually, well, 3 of them graduated with their associates, but the rest of them are actually working towards their associates. So my advice is always, you can always move up in life. You're never too old. Look at me. You know, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I do have 3 adult children, and one of them works in corporate America. So my advice is always, you're never too old. And no matter what, you can always go back and educate yourself. Even after your degree, you can always go back and take refresher courses. I think education is extremely important. So, thank you.
Well, it's been an honor for me today to sit on a panel with the older age group, and, you know, as you can hear, we kind of did it backwards. So as I look out in the audience and I see all the young people in the audience, I say keep going, push through, because you don't want to get into a life of regret. You're in a perfect position now. Finish what you started, and also don't compare yourself to anyone else. Comparison is the killer of dreams. You know, we live in the social media society. It's easy to compare yourself to how other people look, or what they're doing, or what they accomplished in a short period of time. But honor yourself, know yourself, honor yourself, and you know, comparison can also kill your self-esteem, and you need your self-esteem to make it in society. So that would be my advice to the young ones in the audience, is get it done early. Even if you don't know what your major is, I wish I knew this earlier, that the associates covers your core. Even if you don't know what your major is, at least take your core before you decide. And so that's my advice for you today.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content from LSC-Kingwood.